Hi everybody, it's me, Rope Baby. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some finger and hand checks that you can do while you're in arm binders in rope bondage. These finger and hand checks will help you detect any problems that might be happening related to nerve compression. As a bottom, it is important to be aware of your physical anatomy for a few reasons. One, body awareness. Being able to identify what's happening in your body and where is going to help you keep track of any particular needs your body may have in rope. Two, communication. Having the vocabulary to alert your top to a problem area or being able to discuss what happened post-scene is going to help keep you safer in rope and also help maximize the success of your scene. Three, risk assessment. Rope bondage is inherently very risky, and there is absolutely nothing that anyone can do to be 100% safe 100% of the time. However, if we're practicing risk-aware consensual kink, that means that we have to be aware of the risks. So understanding the anatomy most at risk in rope bondage is going to help you mitigate potential risks and possibly help prevent injury. Disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. The anatomical information that I'm going to be talking about in this video comes from research that I've done myself. I will include the links to everything that I talk about here so you can do your own research, which I very much encourage you to do. The experiential information that I'll be sharing is from my own personal experience, as well as experiences from other bottoms that I've had the privilege of meeting and discussing these things with in my journeys and travels. The two types of nerves that we are looking out for here are sensory nerves, which allow sensation on your skin, so touch and feeling, and the other are motor nerves that controls your motor functions and your muscle movement. The other half of the equation here is blood circulation loss. Some people are more prone to this than others, and it seems to happen more often in strapatos than TKs, although it can happen in both. Keep in mind that if you are experiencing blood circulation loss, it does make it harder to detect nerve compression because the symptoms are pretty similar. With blood circulation issues, you might feel tingling, you might feel numbness, and you might even get slower movement or complete loss of mobility. Generally speaking, loss of motor function is a serious cause for concern in rope bondage. That being said, there are people who feel confident in their ability to discern between blood circulation issues and nerve compression issues and are also comfortable with the risk that that entails. Some people are not, including tops. Both people need to be on the same page and respect each other's boundaries. Okay, so first up we have finger taps. These not only help you to detect any numbing or tingling sensations, it also will help test for motor function. Motorcycle revs. Can you do this movement? If you can, but it's slow, it might be a sign of radial nerve compression and a precursor to wrist drop. If you can't do the motion at all, you might want to come out of rope immediately. Then we have rubbing the thumb with the finger. And if you took a look at the dermatomes of the hand map, you'll see that this area is controlled by the radial nerve. What we're testing for here is numbness, maybe tingling, and that might indicate a radial nerve compression. It could also be a precursor to wrist drop, or it could be just sensory. Then we have rubbing the fingers with the thumb. And if you take a look at the dermatomes of the hand map, you'll see the different areas of your hand and fingers that the nerves connect with, and you might be able to identify exactly which nerve is causing problems if you feel numbness or tingling anywhere. Then we have making a fist and opening the fist. So again, this is testing for motor control and testing for sensory. You can kind of rub your palm here with your fingers. So now that we've done the hand and finger checks, what could these sensations or motor impairment indicate, and where might it be originating? Common problem areas for arm binders and rope bondage include, but are not limited to, wraps on the upper arm, wraps on the forearm, cuffs, any rope that goes over the brachial plexus, which is this area between the neck and the shoulder, as well as any compression of the nerves in this nice little bundle in your armpit. So that could be from a knot, a kanuki, or even your arm being too tightly bound against your torso. So I encourage you all to do your research on what those risks are. What is the risk of a radial nerve compression? What is the risk of median nerve or ulnar nerve compression? You will find wrist drop, carpal tunnel, loss of grip. Those things may be within your risk profile or they may not be. So it's important for you to do your own research and understand what risks you're taking. The other nerve that we mentioned though was sensory nerves. Sensory nerve compression will leave you with some numb patches wherever the compression occurred. This can occur if you have a rope potato, or AKA a bundle of rope, smashed against your back, for example, in a TK, or against another part of your body, or if you have a knot smashed against your body. This could compress the sensory nerve in that area and give you a numb patch. I want to talk about one more, which is not as common, but it's something that could happen, so it's good to be aware of, and that is foot drop. Essentially the same thing as wrist drop, except it's your ankle that's not moving instead of your wrist. That one is a pretty targeted area that you have to watch out for. The peroneal nerve, it runs along the outside of the knee, it's fairly unprotected, it kind of goes over top of your shin bone. The most common issues in rope for that to happen, for you to have an injury there, would be a calf binder that's tied too high along the leg. It could also be from having bamboo tied. So this stuff isn't meant to be scary. Wrist drop and nerve injuries and other injuries have happened to a lot of us. I have sustained wrist drop. I have sustained a foot drop injury. I've gotten numb patches. A lot of us have experienced this, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad bottom. Sometimes you can be doing everything right and something just happens. So the important thing is that you're aware of what those things might be and potentially how to prevent them. Thank you for watching. I hope that you all found something useful in this. I welcome any questions or comments or feedback that you may have for me. And I also want to say I'm making these videos because I realize that this is safety information that I believe everybody who's practicing rope bondage should have access to. I don't believe that it should be behind a paywall, because that means that people who don't have the money won't be able to afford basic safety education. And I just don't believe that that's the kind of community that I want to be in. So I want to make this accessible information. That being said, if you have the resources and you find it helpful, I would really appreciate a tip for my time and effort. But again, you don't have to, especially if you don't have the resources. I really am doing this because I'm passionate about helping to keep the community a little safer and helping to keep bottoms safer.